Hey guys, Zyke here, and welcome back to another episode of Roguelike Adventures in Dungeons 2 with me. Hello. Last episode, I was just showing off our perfect little area that we have found, which is over here. And I'm super happy with it. And I figured out how to turn off clouds. I'm just an idiot sometimes. It was literally like the first thing. If I go to options and then video settings, it's literally right here as a toggle. I kept wanting to go to quality. Yeah, because there's clouds here, and I figured that. But I actually turned off clouds, so that's an option. Because some of y'all were telling me turning off clouds are probably going to be the better idea since we're in that height. One of y'all did say that we could possibly keep on clouds if we were to terraform the area up. It would look really cool if our castle looked like it was floating on the clouds, but I did a little bit of the math there, and that's a lot of terraforming, and I'm not doing that. So, but anyway, I do think I mentioned last episode I wanted to try and gather a little bit of material, not enough, of course, to build the whole darn thing, but a little bit of material to try and figure out a color palette that we were going for. I'm getting so many eggs. I'm getting flashbacks. Anyway, and I kind of wanted to do something that's inspired by the village area stuff that we got going on, because they have a very much like blue and white theme, and with the roof being kind of this greenish blue instead. However, I do not want to use like the actual log because I do want to keep a lot of these trees here, and I think that would be a little blendy. But I do want to use the wood, and it makes this very pretty light blue. And I also kind of wanted to keep with the white theme, but I don't want it to be an entirely white castle, because also to get the material for white, which for me is going to be marble, is a little bit of an annoying thing to get. So, because I cannot vein mine it, I have to mine it by hand. Which, to be fair, a lot of the stone I'm going to have to too, but with the stone, I just can really mine anywhere. Where with the marble, I have to go out and look for it, which it's in the cave system, still not too big of a deal, but just something to keep in mind. But I have figured out a gradient that I think I want to go with here. And I want to start with this really dark, which is smooth stone, and I originally was going to want to get deep slate, I think is what it was. Hey, but hey, this pack has bedrock at 0, so I couldn't get where I think that is. I'm not exactly sure where to find it, because here it's actually quark. It's not a vanilla Minecraft item. So, but I was scrolling through like everything that I have, and I noticed that I had some smooth stone slabs that I was using for something else at some point. And I'm like, oh, that's actually really dark, and that's really easy to get because it's just smelting cobblestone twice. So I get that. I do have quite a bit of andesite, goes into stone bricks, goes into clay, which I didn't even know that this was clay. It's been in my caves for so long, and I always figured it was like a weird... I don't even know what I thought it was, but I never clicked in my head that this was clay, because this looks a lot smoother than, I think, normal Minecraft clay, because you gotta remember the textures in this pack are ever so slightly different. Not in a bad way, just different. So... that's that, and then that'll go into marble and then polished marble. Now, when I'm looking at this, the marble and polished marble bricks, I keep trying to switch back and forth in my head to try and figure out what's better. Especially because, like, this is a castle, and I do want to kind of keep more of the brick thing going on, and they don't actually make, like, clay bricks. And the andesite bricks end up looking very similar to the stone brick. So it's going to be not exactly this. This is going to be a lot taller, of course. So there's going to be more layers of the brick part, I think, with more of this other stuff kind of scattered in. Now, with the darker stuff, I can kind of get away with that more, having more of that, because it's, one, kind of shadow-esque, and two, I think looks a lot like more like rock. And, like, it's the bottom of the castle, it's going to get more dirt and stuff, so I think I can get away with that more. I'm just worried about this clay and marble. That's probably going to be a bit of a thinner mixing layer, but we'll see when we get there. And then I noticed that the stripped Skyrus is a lot lighter than just normal Skyrus planks, so I think we're going to try to do something with that. I don't know. But that's the general idea that I have, but I don't have any of the materials. I don't have enough. Literally all that I have in my inventory is all the materials that I have. So I'm going to need a lot more, but I also have an idea for how this castle is going to be laid out, and it's very rough. So I got to show y'all that. And I will show you that with my art program. So I took a screenshot of the map that we have over here. So this is where we are, and this is kind of what I'm looking at for what we're gonna do. So this is us. That's us. Clear? Yes. So, um, what I'm hoping to do, and I drew it out over here. So let's go ahead and make this a lot lighter. And I drew it with this. This is kind of the plan that I have going on in a general sense. This is where we are. Whoops. Where? How did I ever do this program? Okay. This is where we are now. And kind of have, like, just the roughest of plans going on. This is going to be our keep here. This is our entrance. And then I'm planning on having, like, a little farm. A well, probably. And, like, a stables for some horses. Like, that would kind of make sense. But, like, this whole thing is going to be our main home. And then I have a general idea for over here of, like, this is where we're going to have, like, a bunch of portals and such. Like, all of the little things that we've been trying to do, so that way it's not in our main home. But this is, like, this is going to be the main home to keep. And I have a general idea. So I don't have an idea of how, like, the walls are actually going to lay out or whatever, but this is kind of the general sense. Now, the downside to doing it this way is I kind of lose a sense of scale. So I do believe I counted this to be about 22 blocks wide, which I think is big enough in general. And then width-wise, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So about a 22 by 16. I don't think that's... I think that's okay. I don't know. Like, I didn't build any of this out quite yet. But this is the general idea of what I want in our world. So I think this is something that we're going to try to stick with. I don't have anything positive quite yet. Where is my Minecraft world? Come back to me. Okay. But that's kind of the general sense of what I've got going on towards what I want for this area. I just kind of have to figure out exactly where that's going to be, but we're definitely going to need a lot more materials. Definitely, we're going to need mostly marble and stone, because 2 of these are stone, 2 of these are marble variants. We're going to need quite a bit of clay, but I've been finding a bit of that in the caves. The andesite I've not been running across too often as of recently, but I'm pretty sure I can find that in some areas. I just got to look a little bit closer. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get all of those materials, and then we'll come back and start laying out some things. So let's do that. And so I went to mine, immediately running into some trouble with the buffest zombie I have ever ran into. And he did a lot of damage, and I just had to run. But thankfully I was able to get him back a little bit. With this little fun guy popping up from beneath the waves. So we gathered some material. We got ourselves some andesite, some marble, lots and lots of marble. We're able to get some clay, more marble, and some stone. And without some mishaps along the way, a lot of zombie kills going after us. But I'm expecting that being in the caves until I met this faithful guy that just had the strongest silverfish I've ever seen. And died. We had to have a little bit of a rescue getting my stuff back, but I was able to get it back. But not without that stupid creeper that was behind trying to blow me up on the way out. And yet another funeral. And there we go! Some stuff! Okay, so we got quite a bit. Mine for a little over an hour, and this is about the stuff we got. Marble's actually not that hard as I thought it was gonna get originally. There's actually marble everywhere. I just don't pay attention. So, I got a bunch of marble, I got a bunch of cobblestone, smelted it down to stone so I could get storm bricks, and then smelted it again for smooth stone. Got a bunch of andesite, that was actually the first thing I was able to get, and I got a handful of clay. Not as much as I was hoping for, but it's actually, like, obviously not that hard to get. So now our goal is from that image that I showed y'all earlier, the general idea of the map. I do know that the entrance is going to be about here. little up a bit. About here, where this is. Because if I line up the trees a little bit, this tree is exactly over where I have the entrance. Now, obviously, when I was drawing this stuff, because it's this tree, and I was drawing this stuff, it's a little difficult to see the depth on the map, so this goes straight down. This is on the edge of the hill, and then there's an edge of a hill on this side, which means this is a very good spot to have an arch, because I actually have a plan of putting a bridge here to get to that side, which I think will look very nice, though I could also angle it, because that no, because that dips down. So yeah, to get kind of like a bridge going over there. So this is kind of where I want it. I'm just going to have to scooch things a little bit and maybe not have as wide as a spot that I was thinking of before. But I mean, there's really no way to know this until we started. So kind of wanting a middle here. So if this is 5, this is going to be the middle right here. So that might not stay that way. I might actually scooch this back just a little bit more. Well, here's the beginning on the map. My building actually starts, like, here. Which that's not really going to be feasible anyway. Because of the... I'm already terraforming. Because it's not wide enough. And like I said, I think I had this as an even number at the time, but I had it as 22 by 16. It's been a couple hours since I talked about this last time I remember. But obviously, we're not going to be able to do that as wide here unless I were to back this up a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do that. Not by much. But, like, this will give us plenty of space here. In fact, I could probably move this up, like there. So, ooh. I'm going to get a bunch of ores doing this. So if this is the middle, and I'm going to keep a gap on each side so that way I remember it's the middle. But this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... 9. How about we do that? And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's not 22 by 22. That's 18. That's a 19. I can go off the edge a little bit because it's not like this is straight down either. So I could do this. Because my plan, too... Yeah, that looks pretty wide. Because this isn't going to be a huge castle. It's going to be huge around, but the actual castle itself shouldn't be that big. But I do want to have, like, things... Towers on the edges. And they're not called towers. I did so much research on castles, and I immediately forgot all of the terminology, except for keep. So... Whoops. And, oh, I'll remember the other word later. But anyway, but I do want to have, like, kind of these towers over here. These are not going to be that big. I think on my map, I only had them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had them, like, as a 6 by 6. I like odd numbers, so probably going to do a 7 by 7. Because if I do an odd number, it's easier to do, like, yeah, the one up per. So if this is this wide, maybe 7 by 7 is not a good idea. Maybe we could just do a 5 by 5. And it's going to cut into this. So the outside would be more like this. Right? That looks about right, maybe? I'm going to keep that there. Okay. So, I'm not going to be able to reach anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll just have this, because this is all going to have to be changed out for the darker block anyway. It's just easier for me to mine with the andesite at the moment. It's the only reason I'm using it. So the outside, that looks pretty good, because this is going to be a pretty large arch here in my mind. So if I do that, it's probably going to be one wider than that. Yeah, that kind of... Is this still middle? Yeah. That kind of makes... That makes sense there. Because that's pretty big. Okay. Then my next step is I have the angles going off from that. Oops. And I think in my sketch, the wall actually kind of goes behind this a little bit. So instead of it being like directly diagonal from this, I think I have it kind of starting behind it. So technically, I think my wall would start here. So I think I'm more, yeah, I'm more so connected with where that wall goes to here, which, do I like that is the question. I think I do because it kind of still gives this, but then my next thing is like, this is a straight diagonal. So this is going to be a weird gap because then my next one's there. So maybe if I do it from here, because it'd be boop, boop, boop. But then does that make that weird here? Kinda does. Kinda does. Well, also, ooh, here's my thing too. This is still a part of a building. So, like, if I do this, because this is how I'm gonna remember things. If I do this, this building still goes this way. So I gotta figure out how big do I want the entrance. Because generally the idea, which I doubt I'm gonna be able to do, maybe, I don't know, is sometimes you can have like a gate that goes here. I'm gonna make this just one smaller on each side. I'll figure this more in detail later, but there would be like a gate that goes open and close here. Yay! There'd be a gate open and close. You'd have a little bit of a wall and then another gate on the other side. You could make it 2 layers, but I don't foresee... I'm protecting my castle as the basics. I am not building a war-based castle. So I'm not building this in the sense that I'm in the midst of war. I am attacking pillagers, but I don't perceive them coming to me as often as me going to them. Which I don't know what that makes me. And I'm not going to dwell on it for very long. So I don't think this needs to necessarily be that thick. So if my towers here are going to be 5 by 5, I think we can kind of get away with 1, 2, 1, 2, like maybe I want it to stay 2, 3, 1, 2, an odd number. So this would be a 7, and I think, you know, that is acceptable. And I will mine this down later. This is literally just for me to outline. If I'm able to stay where I need to be. It's getting dark. I gotta go sleep. 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 Sleep! Where's the sun? Set faster! I can't. Can I do it now? Yay. Okay. So... now it's daytime. How's this looking on the map already? Ooh, that's hard to see. That's fine. Because the trees are in my way. I probably should mine these trees. I can always plant new ones later, because I assume that they're going to be the same size as all of this. I just need the space. Okay. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get the rest of these trees down, and then I'm gonna finish the outline for this. So let's speed up the placing of this a little bit. Alright. I think I finally, decided on something I like. This took forever. So compared to my layout that I have discovered that the layout that I have drawn was a little off to where the mountain range actually was. And when I was originally doing the 5x5 towers, those are way too small compared to how long and large this area is. So they would have looked awkward. So I messed around with things a little bit. I think I found something that I'm happy with for the moment. And of course, things could change once I start actually building things up, because this isn't just a general layout. The white bits are like where the building's supposed to be. So this is the keep, this is stables, and this is a farmhouse kind of thing. But I think for now, this is very acceptable. Obviously, like I said, once we start building things up, things are going to feel a little bit more enclosed, because right now this feels like a huge empty space. But I am planning on filling like a good portion of this side as farm. There should be a well over here. And once we get paths and things start getting builded up, it's going to be a lot better. So I think this is a good stopping point, though, for the moment. I'm going to have to get a lot more materials, obviously, and try to flesh out exactly how I want everything to be. I do like the gradient that I have going on. I'm very happy about that. But I also got to see if there's any other, like, intricate Morris details and stuff, so I got to mess around with that. I know the city is a little different than normal, and I hope I did it justice. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you would like to see editing more like that, where you get to explore a little bit more into my resource gathering and building process, as mind-numbing as it could possibly be, let me know, and I will try to do this a little bit more often, as convenient as it may be. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any tips, tricks, or anything like that, please put it down in the comments below. I always greatly appreciate it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye!